Hey everybody, and welcome to another MOTUfigures.com video spotlight. Man, we're picking up steam. We're getting going again. You know, we're gonna play catch up, but as new figures come in, we're gonna do those spotlights as those figures come in. So the next video, unless we can finish one in time, will probably be Marlena. But we're still gonna play catch up in between releases. So today we're gonna be doing He-Man because he's the next one in line. But the next video we jump to might be Marlena. But each video will be available on each character's individual listing on the site at MOTUfigures.com or on the YouTube page. All that was way too confusing. I don't even know why I explained all that. We're also back in the He-Man room. We had a couple people email and say, "What are you guys doing in that Star Trek room? That's not a He-Man room. What are you doing in that room?" So we moved the seat over and we're in the He-Man room again. The Detolf's behind me, they kind of go that way, kind of turn around. And you notice there's a big empty spot, it's a waiting Megatour. It should be soon. But anyway, right into it. He-Man.
The one figure you must have.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. You have to have a He-Man figure. They first showed this figure at the 2007 San Diego Con. And I remember flipping out, seeing this figure in the case. I called my buddy Nick and I said, "Dude, are you seeing this He-Man figure in this case? Because it looks amazing." It's everything I had wanted the 2000s line to be. No offense against 2000s fans. I know that style is liked by a lot of fans. It wasn't my thing. I bought those figures because they were He-Man, and I was excited about a new He-Man figure. But this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted that line to be. Just a incredible update of the original look, but done with the new sculpting and the new articulation and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to? Here's my other feeling about this figure. I'm sorry, I'm going to ramble for a second here. Growing up as a kid, I loved He-Man toys, the vintage figures. But when you go back and look at those figures as an adult, even though it's great for its time, those figures do have some shortcomings. I'm sorry, no offense to vintage fans either. I'm a vintage fan. I mean, they're squat and they have kind of the rubber bandy legs and, you know, just the shoulders and the head and the twist waist, and they're great for their time, but they do have shortcomings when you look back at them. But as a kid, I didn't see any of that stuff. I just saw an awesome He-Man figure, an awesome Skeletor or whatever. So these figures are kind of what I thought I had as a kid. Perfect representations of the mini comic art, the cross-cell art, just perfection. These are amazing. And He-Man is a must-have. This is the perfect update of this figure. There were two versions. The first release had this kind of red around his eyes and reversed shoulders so that his left shoulder was on his right arm and his right shoulder was on his left arm. I think I had one that was one of each. So they fixed all that stuff. When they did the reissue, they toned down the skin tone, they got rid of the red eyes, fixed the shoulders, yada yada yada. So the reissue is actually the preferred version. He comes with a shield, an axe, a half sword to combine with Skeletor's, and a full power sword. Love the fact that it comes with a full power sword. As a kid, you know, all we had was half swords, and that's great, that's cool, but you need a full power sword. Mm-hmm. And it's the most important accessory, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could lose all this other stuff and just have the power sword. You'd be fine.
The half power sword, he won't have as much of the power as he will with the full one.
Yeah, because he's got to combine them into the full power sword, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about this guy? You like him?
Yeah.
So you actually don't have this version. You have the DC 2-pack version.
Yep.
And you can see the subtle differences between the DC 2-pack version and this one. Not so subtle, really. The colors are different. He's got two short bracers in the DC version, but in this one he's got the long bracer like the vintage figure has and the short bracer. Mm-hmm. The highlighting on this one's a bit different than that one. He's got like the colored in jewels that are kind of a darkish brownish red and highlighting to the bracers. Which
I love about that.
Yeah, this one's cool. I know you got the DC version, but eventually you're going to have to get this version too. And right now he's available on MattyCollector.com.
Yeah, but well, I can see that you want it if you had a subscription, but if you were just collecting them, the point would just be to have one He-Man, wouldn't it?
What do you mean?
Like, sure, if you're getting a subscription, you would need that one. But if you're a kid just collecting He-Man toys, you would already have.
Oh
He-Man.
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, since you have the DC version, you really don't need this one, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying that people just really need one He-Man.
If you're not getting the subscription.
Exactly, unless you're a completist and you need them all, which I need them all. But you have a He-Man, and that's good enough. You've got that one He-Man, and that's perfect. But for people that are getting into the line, they need this He-Man.
Oh, I also have a Battle Armor He-Man.
Yeah, Battle Armor He-Man too. Here's my thing about this line, and maybe I'm off base by saying this, but I think that they kind of handle this kind of poorly. I know that the He-Man and Skeletor are available right now, but they should be available all the time. So that way, anybody that's getting into the line, if it's like, say, the monthly figures Clawful, say, and you wanted to get into the line on Clawful, He-Man and Skeletor should be available at that same time.
So you can get all three of them.
Exactly. So no matter when you get into the line, you could always get He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah.
I think they should always be available. If you're running out of stock, you make more. And you just keep it on there until you run out.
I was like, oh, I don't have enough money for all of them, so I'm just going to get the Clawful this month. And when when the next monthly figure comes out, they're like, oh, cool, they're still available, so I can still
Anytime
get
you
them.
want to get He-Man and Skeletor, they're on there. That way you can start the line with these guys. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you guys agree with me. I think He-Man and Skeletor should always be available.
Me too.
No matter what. You can just be like, you can tell a friend like, dude, hey, you should get into these He-Man figures. Where do I get those He-Man figures? MattyCollector.com. And then when they go on the site, they don't just see sold out everything. They see He-Man and Skeletor are available. And then they go, I'm going to jump on with those. And then each monthly figure I'm going to get after that.
Kind of like all the different toys at Toys R Us. They're always available.
Exactly. That's just my opinion. Okay, moving on to the bio. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
He-Man. Real name, Adam of the House of Randor. A direct descendant of the legendary King Grayskull. Prince Adam of Eternia was chosen to protect his ancestors' power sword from evil. At first he used a techno vest with a built-in force field to fight evil, but Adam has since learned to combine both halves of the power sword, using it to channel the energy of the Elders to become He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. He guards the safety of all Eternia alongside the heroic Masters of the Universe. What do you think about it? You like it?
Yeah.
The bio? It's an early, just like with Beastman, this is an early bio, so there's not, the storyline isn't as big on this bio as it is now.
Here's something I really didn't like about
don't you like
Beastman's bio.
Oh, you're jumping back to Beastman. Okay, what didn't you like about Beastman's bio?
The name on it.
Oh yeah, you didn't like the name, but this one's fine because it's Adam of the House of Randor.
His real name.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a huge fan of King Grayskull, but we're not going to get too far into King Grayskull until we tackle the other King Grayskull figure and how he actually ties into the storyline. I like the inclusion of the Techno Vest. That was something that was kind of mentioned in other canons, and so it's kind of cool that it's included here. It's kind of weird that he's running around as He-Man with the Techno Vest before he actually is combining the Power Sword. So that's kind of strange. I wonder how that works out.
Another reason we don't want to jump into Grayskull.
What's that?
It's been so many weeks since we've done him.
Well, no. I mean, the next Grayskull actually has a bio.
Oh.
And those other ones didn't have a real bio.
Oh.
They had a pseudo bio. But we'll save our Grayskull talk for Grayskull. Yeah. I mean, I like to mention the Elders. I've never been a fan of the heroes being called the Masters of the Universe. It just seems so, like, pretentious. But they are called here the heroic Masters of the Universe. So maybe, at this point where this bio is written, you could still think that maybe there's heroic Masters and there's evil Masters. Which, I like that okay, but I never have been a fan of the group of good guys being called the Masters of the Universe.
I don't get what you have against it.
It's like if you called yourself, I'm the coolest guy in the world. I'm the master of the universe. It doesn't seem like you have ego by saying that. So like Man-at-Arms wouldn't name the heroes the masters of the universe. It's so like, kind of full of yourselves. If I was Skeletor, I'd go after him too. I'd be like, you guys are calling yourselves the masters of the universe? Don't you think that's a little bit of an ego trip?
I'll get more into that when I'm older.
Yeah, you don't know about this whole ego thing yet. You'll get into it. Okay, so that about wraps it up for him, right? It's a figure you have to have. If you're collecting this line, you need He-Man, you need Skeletor, and I don't mean Battle Armor or Thunder Punch or Dragon Blaster or this or that. You need a regular He-Man and a regular Skeletor. It's like collecting Thundercats and not having Lion-O and Mum-Ra. It's like collecting Ghostbusters but not having Peter Venkman. It's just you have to have that main guy.
It's like collecting Ghostbusters but not having the 3 main original Ghostbusters.
Well, yeah, but Winston's a Ghostbuster too.
Yeah.
You gotta have all
like,
4.
the ones that are like.
Oh, you mean from the original
ones.
movie? Yeah, I know what you mean. And you mean like maybe getting those and getting Janine and not having the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Blaze is more of a fan of the first Ghostbusters movie than any other thing. He loves that Ghostbusters movie. Forgot about Ghostbusters in a He-Man video.
I know. Here's something I have to say about He-Man.
Okay.
They never did make a movie figure.
They haven't made an 87 movie figure. That is the one He-Man variant that is, like, sorely missing. And here's the other thing, man. Great that they got Filmation rights. I'm excited. But now they've done figures based on the original figures, figures based on the mini-comics, figures based on She-Ra, figures based on the New Adventures, figures based on the 2000s, figures now on Filmation, all these things. The one era that's missing is the 87 movie.
And I can't see how they're going to do New Adventures if they don't have the movie.
Well, they don't have the movie rights, but they could at least do the 3 figures that they are allowed to do, Blade, Sarad, Gwildor. There's no reason for us to already be heading into 2012 and not have one of those yet. I don't know why we're talking about this, because we should be talking about He-Man.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later on. Okay, so we're going to sign off on this one, but we're going to immediately record another one, not focusing on a figure. So if you're wondering why we're going to wear the same outfits in the next video, it's because we recorded it immediately after this one. The magic of spreading out your videos is that you can look like you're wearing the same clothes in all of them. Alright, so we're going to sign off on this one and jump into the other one. So, good journey.
Good journey.
See yous.